Okay, that's very important, especially when you come for the first time. You have to know something, and well, we're talking a lot about preparation and be in a diet for 2, 3 weeks or something else, but that's not so important. First of all, about diet. The ayahuasca works the best if your colon and your system of digesting is more or less clean. So don't eat meat 2, 3 days before. Don't drink alcohol 2 days, 3 days before. Don't use heavy food for the first few days before you go to a ceremony. Because when you go to, for example, when you go to a retreat in Peru or elsewhere in South America, they have a very special preparation, like you never eat salt a few weeks before or sugar, or you don't do this or you don't do that. But for an invitation in ayahuasca, like a weekend workshop, it's not that important. The only important thing is that your stomach is empty and your colon is more or less at ease. So no heavy food. Uh, let's say 3, 4 days before you start the ceremony. That's important. For me, because I'm working with this circle of life, it's also important that you uh, have information about your own birth. Because we're talking before the ceremony, we're talking about these traumas that we might have and might come into the ayahuasca ceremony. So maybe what you know about your birth, try to get as far as you can information. That's important. Also realize that do not make too much tension on this ayahuasca. Like, or now I'm going to do ayahuasca, and now I see angels, or now I see beautiful pictures, or now I've no, don't 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 be like that, because when you're open and okay and at ease, without too much thinking of what can happen, also be aware that fear is also a fantasy of what can happen. And the best way to prepare yourself is, okay, I'm going to try ayahuasca. I don't expect anything, but I would be pleased if the ayahuasca shows me some things on my issues where I'm working with problems or with complaints or whatever. So please, ayahuasca, I want to learn something about myself. And then you can go into the ayahuasca. Another thing in the preparation is always coming back in wherever you go. If you go to the Santo Daime Church, or you go to Peru, or you go to different places where they drink ayahuasca, it's about orgasm. Um, they give different reasons for that. Don't have an orgasm 3 days before or 3 days after a ceremony. Okay, before. What is orgasm doing? It's anyway for male people. I'm not so sure if it's also for women. For maybe it's more it drags you your energy system, so you got less energy, and it also pulls you back into your physical system. And in the ayahuasca, you want to fly. and you don't want to be heavy. So one reason what they say is don't have an orgasm because it pulls you back into your physical body, and it's also lowering your energy system. Also, after a ceremony, when you have the benefits of the ayahuasca go on after a ceremony if you take light food and have no orgasm, so that you stay in a certain kind of spiritual realm. So then everything is still light, and it's still, you're still more or less in the energy of ayahuasca. So that's one reason, also one reason that they say don't have orgasms. Now, well, you can do very strict on that, and you can say, okay, a lot of people say that, and also in Peru they say the spirits don't like sex, but I don't know. That's I don't know. And also this talk about the orgasms in the Santo Daime Church. We have to understand that they're a very religious Catholic church, so sexuality is also a little bit suppressed. But okay, the best is not to have an orgasm 2 or 3 days before, or 2 or 3 days after. That's about orgasm. Further on, what's also important is the use of medicines, just normal prescripted medicine from a doctor. Most medicines conflict with the harmala in the ayahuasca. And some medicines are very bad for ayahuasca, not only physical, but also emotional, because some medicine like antidepressiva, antineurotica, antidepressive medicines, their intention of the medicine is to suppress feelings, suppress emotions, suppress it, while ayahuasca is just the opposite. Bring up the emotions, bring up the traumas, bring up the feelings. So it doesn't work like that. So if you use antidepressant, realize that you are using them for suppressing emotions or suppressing traumatic experiences or disappointing experiences. And the whole suppressing is contra the way of how ayahuasca works. So that kind of medicines you should leave. Let's say a few weeks before you drink ayahuasca. And even the older antidepressant, you have to leave them for more than 6 weeks. And the longer that you used them, the longer the time is that you let them go before you go into an ayahuasca ceremony. So this is a kind of preparation that is important.